Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel. Today's video, I'm gonna talk to you about shipping. Again, yes, I'm always talking about shipping, but this time, of course in my last video, you can check out the link above. I told you that there's some countries that you try to avoid, but of course, to each his own. I've had my fair share of problems shipping to these countries, but in this today's topic, I'm going to talk to you about is basically those countries that you intend to ship and how to maybe prevent anything happening to the shipment, I guess. Because in this, over the weekend, I actually sold like 5 items, and all 5 items are going to 5 different countries. That's pretty amazing. I've seen so many countries at one shot. And if you're new to the channel, welcome. My name is Elvin. I'm a part-time reseller. I resell mostly on eBay, and of late I've been selling on Carousel to the locals. And if you're wondering why I sell on different parts, because it's to help move products basically. And as also a toy collector myself, I've been trying to sell off my old toys, and you can also click on this link that why some toys you don't really keep for very long. Like for instance, this good old DC Universe figure that you're seeing. Look at it. The rubber that's holding onto the figure has basically worn off and is flying over the place in the packaging. The packaging is still sealed, in case you're wondering. So that's one thing why don't hold your figures for too long unless you want to open them. But of course, within the collector in us, sometimes we keep them in carded form. Anyway, for what it's worth this time, before we can jump into how to ship and what to look out for when you're shipping internationally, let's maybe go through what I sold. For the first item in this box, Argentina, I've sold this DC Universe Plastic Man. It's a 2010 figure and it's sold for 110 US. I took a best offer and I've already packed it. You can see a picture of it, what I sold over screen. And it's going to Argentina. This also goes by registered mail, as with this small little box. Next item will be Clawful. Clawful Master Universe Classic Clawful that I sold for, I took a best offer of 45 US dollars. Give and take, this goes out at 20 Singapore dollars, so shipping rate is there. So get about 20 Sing, getting back my money's worth lah, basically. Maybe I'm taking a loss because Master Universe Classics weren't that cheap to begin with. So yeah, that's one. This one is going to, where is it going to? Finland. This is a Finland parcel. Next one will be Krillin. This Bandai Tamashii Krillin that I got way back. I should have sold it before the reissue. Again, one of the reasons why you don't keep toys for way too long, because if the manufacturer reissues and then your older figures price drops. Back then I could have gotten like for 200 over US, and now I took a best offer at 110 US dollars. So that's that. Of course, this one there's shipping on it, so it's about 130 US going out. Again, registered mail, going about 20 Singapore dollars shipping. That one goes to Hungary, another different country going out to. The next one, which is one of my Bishoujo figures that I got at a lot sale at Simply Toys, and this one took, I think someone bought it outright. It was the Bishoujo Mystic, 199, 200 US dollars after shipping, which is about 30 Singapore dollars. So, and all in, I got, my cost was about 90 Singapore dollars. So I get back about 100 Singapore dollars. So it's not bad of a flip. This one is going to USA. Again, with this box size, it goes registered mail. The last but not least, which I have yet to pack because I just sold one this morning, is also a Bishoujo Kotobukiya figure. It's a Michael Myers figure at This one's pretty hefty, 250 US dollars. Of course, this one has, if I'm not wrong, has shipping in it. It's free ship. This one's going to Canada. And yeah, 5 countries, 5 different countries. And you might be wondering, so all this goes out by registered mail. Cool, hold on a second. 5 different countries, as with all countries for that matter, if you're sending them internationally, you do have to bear in mind GST or VAT, the VAT charges on each and every one of the figures that you send, or anything that you send overseas. And eBay, generally, if there's a sales tax on it, means it's already covered. But with the few that the notable mentions that if you didn't realize is, like for instance, the Plastic Man figure that was 110. Again, how to see whether there's actually sales tax on it is when you look at the final total on your eBay account for each item that you sold, and if the cost is higher than what you actually sold, I mean, because if you didn't realize again that eBay takes a fee off your price of the figure, the shipping cost, the sales tax inclusive. Previously it wasn't the case, but right now eBay charges listing fee off your sales, off the sales tax that whatever the country is. So for instance, let's say for the one that's going to Finland, the clawful figure is 45 US dollars that are listed. And I took a best offer of it. But the total amount comes out to 55.80. So 55.80 means buyer actually paid $10.80 sales tax. And in the address, it actually shows that he actually paid for it, and you actually have to print out the shipping label with the relevant listing, so to speak. So that's covered. So wherever you send via any mode of delivery, on his end, his sales tax will, he needs to figure out his sales tax. The customs over on his end, he will need to liaise with them and all that. But for yourself, since he already paid the sales tax and it's already listed on his shipping label, generally, as long as that is shown, you are safe. But for those that you kind of have to second guess it whether he paid or not, you don't need to. It's not paid for means it's not paid for. For instance, the Argentina one, which is 110 US dollars, he did not pay any sales tax. Correct? So if he did not pay any sales tax on eBay, means he hasn't paid for the VAT or the GST. So if you're going to send that parcel to him, you generally need to bear in mind that he hasn't paid for it. And if whatever you declare on the parcel box is the total amount that he needs to pay for the GST. It varies against different countries. In Singapore, it's 7%. In other countries, it could be way even higher. But it's the onus is on the buyer to figure it out himself. But the problem with that is, if let's say he doesn't pay for it, which I've encountered 2 incidents to Canada, that if I'm quite certain that they refuse to pay, that's why the parcel returned back to me. So how do you mitigate it? How do you minimize the loss on it? Because in Singapore context, if you send by registered mail, not so bad. Registered mail is 2 ways. Let's say if he receives it, it's delivered. If it's undelivered for whatever reason, unpaid GST, which is unheard of because the amount is declared should be up to $68, which is only 50 US. Generally, it will pass through customs in almost all the countries. You are safe there. But let's say if it's undelivered because of wrong address or anything, it comes back to you for free, meaning you don't need to pay the delivery service back to you. And I have instances where somehow the buyer just doesn't want the item. It's very odd, but it happens. And then the customer or the buyer doesn't message you, which is, again, very odd. And let's say if you are sending an item that's of high value and you want to send by registered mail, there lies another issue. you are only insured up to $68 in Singapore, which is again 50 US, and if the item is about 100 over US, then how? But again, with eBay, it doesn't matter how you send it to. You actually need to get it delivered to the buyer. So as long as the tracking helps to see that it's delivered, you're perfectly safe. So in my context, if let's say there's items that, like I earlier mentioned, is $250 US dollars, it's 100 over US dollars, it's, what's the other one, the 200 US dollars one. All these I'm sending by registered mail. Not that I don't care whether it's the insured amount is there. The thing is, when I weigh the pros and cons versus the other form of delivery, which is priority speed post, which is if you send by bulky items, and speed post generally sends, when it reaches the other country, it's by DHL, so to speak. There's tracking, that's one. But let's say if the item is returned to you because more than likely it's because of GST, you have to pay the return shipping, which can be the same amount as what you paid for going to the buyer. Let's, for instance, a registered article that you send at 20 Singapore dollars. 20 Singapore dollars with tracking. But if you think of using the other method, which is priority speed post, it can come up to at least 100 Singapore dollars, which is like for like, you'd rather go for a registered mail, correct? So for what is worth, those that you need to send, I'd rather you just choose registered mail and then declare the item at $68. Short in short, for items that are small, as in like small enough to fit into a box that's 30 cm by 30 cm by 30 cm, which is the minimum. I mean, of course, all add up together is 90 cm means it's by registered mail. You are generally safe. If for whatever reason it does not reaches the fella, the person, the buyer, whoever is on the other side of the world, you more than likely will get it back. And I trust the system that you will get it back. But for those that if you send by the other methods, the return shipping is very, very costly. And yeah, so last but to sum this all up, but basically, GST is not your concern. It's up to whether the buyer pays for it, which again is not your concern. Your concern is eBay side, whether you ship the item out. How you declare it is based on which tracking you use. If you're going by registered mail, then you have to bear in mind that it only covers up to $68. And even if you send by priority speed post in Singapore, again, everything is in Singapore context, but of course in other countries it's roughly the same. If you send by the other method, the more expensive method, it only insures up to 150. So you have to add more money to get it insured more. And then you have the possibility of, if you are declaring it at such a high amount, which logically speaking, you will do it because the item is a high price item. Sometimes the buyer will not be willing to pay the GST, and then you are left stuck with the item not with you, because I have 2 parcels with Singpost and they are not willing to release it to me, so I'm taking that as a loss. So that's another video altogether. But in this video, I'm just going to tell you how to manage items or parcels or shipments that you are sending to various countries around the world. So hope this helps you guys somehow. Any queries, any comments, you can comment down below if you want. Like the video if you think this is a very useful video, and I'll catch you guys next time. See you around. Bye bye.